Barry Allen Crompton Gibb, born on September 1st, 1946 on the Isle of Man, grew up in a household where music was not just an interest, but a way of life. Raised by his parents, Hugh and Barbara Gibb, Barry was immersed in a creative environment from a young age. His parents fostered an atmosphere of storytelling and emotional expression, encouraging Barry to explore his musical talents. Together with his younger brothers, Barry developed a natural sensitivity to melody and lyrics, which later became the foundation for his musical career. The family's move from the Isle of Man to Manchester and then to Australia exposed Barry to new cultural influences and solidified the bond between the siblings. These formative years were not about fame, but about the joy of discovering how music could unite voices and evoke emotion. The formation of the Bee Gees and early success. The Bee Gees were not formed with calculated ambition, but grew out of shared passion and hard work. Barry, along with his twin brothers Robin and Maurice, began performing together at a young age, gradually perfecting the vocal harmonies that would later define their sound. Their time in Australia helped them build confidence and gave them a platform to refine their craft. Upon returning to England in the late 1960s, they signed with producer Robert Stigwood, who helped propel them onto the global music scene. Songs like Massachusetts and To Love Somebody displayed Barry's talent for emotional songwriting and his ability to craft melodies with lasting impact. The Bee Gees' early success was a result of years of practice, persistence, and a deep familial connection, which set them apart from their peers in the music industry. Reinventing pop music in the disco era. The 1970s marked a transformative period for Barry Gibb and the Bee Gees. Rather than fading with the changing musical landscape, Barry led the group through a reinvention that would define their place in music history. His falsetto, which had started as an experiment, became one of the most recognizable voices in pop music. The release of the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack not only revitalized the Bee Gees' career, but helped usher in the disco era, bringing the genre into the global mainstream. Songs like Stayin' Alive and Night Fever became both commercially successful and musically sophisticated, driven by Barry's deep understanding of musical structure and emotional depth. Despite later backlash against disco, its cultural impact remains, and Barry's ability to evolve without compromising artistic identity demonstrated his rare creative genius. Barry Gibb beyond the Bee Gees. Barry Gibb's influence extends far beyond his role as a member of the Bee Gees. As a songwriter and producer, he contributed to the success of numerous iconic artists, showcasing his versatility and emotional range. His collaborations with artists like Barbra Streisand, Diana Ross, Kenny Rogers, and Dolly Parton helped define the careers of many, with songs like Guilty and Islands in the Stream becoming classics. Barry's approach to songwriting was always about telling a story, focusing on emotion rather than following trends. His ability to adapt to different musical styles allowed him to remain relevant across decades, working behind the scenes to shape the sound of multiple generations. Barry's quiet confidence and generosity as a collaborator ensured his continued success long after his own peak in the spotlight. Personal loss and emotional resilience. Behind Barry Gibb's public success lies profound personal loss. The deaths of his younger brother Andy in 1988, followed by Maurice in 2003 and Robin in 2012, deeply impacted him. These losses were not just professional but personal, as the three brothers had shared a lifetime of music and memories. Barry has spoken candidly about the grief that followed, describing how silence replaced the harmonious voices of his brothers. Continuing to perform without them required a strength and purpose that he struggled to find at times. Yet, rather than retreating, Barry chose to honor his brother's memory through music. His later works, which reflect introspection, vulnerability, and maturity, are a testament to the resilience he gained through love and loss. While grief altered his voice, it also added a layer of depth, reminding audiences that strength can emerge from pain, love, marriage, and stability. Barry Gibb's personal life has been marked by enduring commitment and stability, offering a contrast to the chaos that often surrounds fame. In the 1960s, Barry's first marriage ended quietly as his career took off. However, in 1970, he married Linda Gray, and their relationship became one of the most stable in the entertainment world. Linda offered emotional support and grounding, helping Barry navigate the pressures of fame and personal loss. Together, they raised 5 children, focusing on family life despite Barry's demanding career. Linda's unwavering support and her ability to maintain balance in their lives have been central to Barry's emotional resilience. Their marriage stands as a reminder that true longevity in both love and career is rooted in patience, loyalty, and mutual respect, rather than public spectacle. Barry Gibb's reflections on Cliff Richard. As Barry Gibb looks back on his career, he has spoken thoughtfully about fellow artists who influenced him, including British pop legend Cliff Richard. Barry's reflections on Cliff are grounded in respect and admiration rather than dramatic revelations. He has often highlighted Cliff's ability to maintain personal integrity in an industry driven by excess. For Barry, Cliff served as a model of consistency, balancing artistic success with personal values. Their paths rarely crossed in a professional sense, but Barry has acknowledged the mutual recognition they shared over the years. This quiet understanding between them speaks to the power of shared experience in music, reminding us that relationships built on respect need not always be defined by close proximity or constant collaboration. Faith, authenticity, and longevity. Barry Gibb's admiration for Cliff Richard is reflective of his broader respect for artists who have remained authentic throughout their careers. In an industry often focused on trends and fleeting moments, Barry has always valued consistency and emotional honesty. He recognizes how difficult it is to preserve one's identity while navigating the pressures of fame, and he has looked to artists like Cliff for inspiration. Barry's longevity in music is not only due to his undeniable talent, but also his restraint and ability to reflect on his work. His ability to adapt without compromising his core values has allowed him to remain relevant over the decades. Barry's reflections on his career highlight how the endurance to maintain authenticity is a rare and invaluable trait, one that is forged through experience and personal growth. Legacy and cultural impact. Barry Gibb's legacy is firmly cemented in the fabric of modern music. With numerous chart-topping hits spanning across multiple decades, his influence is felt in various genres and by generations of musicians. His induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and his knighthood for contributions to music and charity reflect the deep respect he commands in the industry. However, his greatest achievement may lie in the emotional connection his songs continue to foster. Barry's music speaks to universal themes: love, loss, hope, and resilience, and his voice, both literal and creative, remains instantly recognizable. His career serves as a model for artistic longevity, demonstrating that relevance follows authenticity and that great music endures through time. A life of gratitude and reflection. At this stage of his life, Barry Gibb reflects more as a witness to history than as a star. His insights into music, relationships, and fellow artists are shaped by gratitude rather than ambition. He recognizes that survival, creativity, and integrity are rare accomplishments in the entertainment world, and he has lived through the highs and lows of a remarkable career. Barry speaks about peers like Cliff Richard not to rewrite history but to honor it. His reflections offer a calm perspective shaped by decades of personal and professional experience. Through his words, Barry reminds us that behind every legendary career is a story of discipline, faith, and connection, qualities that continue to inspire long after the spotlight fades.